Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Gail right here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi video. And today I'm going to be going over my thought process and my reasoning behind why I believe Danmachi will not be getting a season 5 in the next 2 years. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, remember to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi content, and of course, let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this discussion. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? And of course, remember to keep it civil. This is a very subjective topic, and I know a lot of people tend to get very angry about certain things. Not saying everybody gets like this, but of course, just making sure that the comment section should be a place where it's a friendly discussion area. It shouldn't be some place where you can start insulting somebody, be it me or somebody else. More so, I don't want you guys insulting one another, to be quite honest. Insult me all you want, I don't care. But stop insulting other people, because that tends to happen in the comment section. Or if I go over to the Reddit, for example, I see people insulting one another. Don't do that. Be objective. Be factual in what you're saying, and don't be rude about the way you're going about saying things. Okay, so of course keep that in mind. Hopefully we can have a good discussion in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me, disagree with me, and all that jazz? I'm looking forward to seeing the comments of this video. Now, before we get in, you might be wondering, Gail, why did you even think about this in the first place? You know, surely it's a little bit too soon to start talking about a season 5. You know, we've just come off season 4. You know, they're still doing their 10th anniversary shenanigans and stuff. But that's the exact reason why I wanted to make this video. Now, of course, if you guys didn't keep up with the Danmachi news over the last couple of days, of course, you would have known if you had been keeping up with the news. And of course, if you haven't, I will let you guys know what's been going down. But basically, on Monday, the past Monday, I think it was like the 2nd of July or 3rd of July, something like that, basically, they made an announcement saying that the final project for Danmachi's 10th anniversary, the 10th project, would be announced on Friday, 7th of July, 2023 at 5 p.m. BST, right? And a lot of people were anticipating that the final project would be some form of anime announcement, right? This was something that we've been expecting for a very long time. We thought that it would have been a anime announcement. Come Friday morning or Friday evening, depending on where you live, we get the announcement, and it's not an anime announcement. It's instead a announcement for a live event happening in November. Now, if you want to check out the video on this and this entire topic entirely, focusing on the 10th project, you can go and check out yesterday's video. Be sure to go check it out. It's quite handy to get an idea of exactly the reactions of everybody and what exactly this live event will entail. But mainly the point is, we got the live event announcement. There was no anime announcement, and a lot of people were expecting, if it was an anime announcement, it would be season 5. Now, the thing is, right, I even mentioned it in the last couple of videos that I don't think it will be season 5, and I didn't go into a lot of my reasoning. I went into one particular reason, which I think is the biggest reason of them all, but I'll go into more reasons in a moment as well. But basically, they thought that, you know, it would have been a season 5 announcement. Okay, no anime announcement, fine. But now people are expecting there to be an announcement for an anime at this live event, which is something even I'm expecting. I expect there to be some form of big announcement at this live event. Usually when it comes to Danmachi, they tend to like doing things big at events specifically, right? Like if you look at last year's Danmimo Fest, for example, that's where they announced the fact that, you know, Danmachi Volume 18 was getting published in January 2023, of course, right? And then of course we also had a couple of big conventions, GA Bunko stages, where they've announced anime and movies as well previously, of course, right? So I do believe that this live event is the perfect opportunity for them to announce something big, be it some form of anime, some form of light novel, console game, whatever it may be. I believe it's going to be an anime or a movie adaptation, but we'll have to wait and see. But there is going to be something big that gets announced here, basically, right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about why I believe season 5 will come out, okay? And this is my thought process on why I think season 5 might come out sooner than we think, and obviously sooner than I think, of course, at the same time. Why it might come out, say, for example, next year. If you take a look at season 4, right? I mean, especially the second half of season 4, it was rated exceptionally well in by the community, by the Western community especially. It was rated exceptionally well. Now, the thing is with Danmachi especially, right? It's never been rated highly by the community, right? if you go back and take a look at previous years, right? Of course, this is Danmachi season 4 part 1, 7.72. Season 4 part 2 was 8 point something, right? If you go take a look at season 3, it was like 7.46. Season 2 was, I think, really low, if I'm not mistaken, 7.23. Nothing crazy, ranked 2,800. Nothing crazy, honestly. And if you go back to season 1 all the way back in 2015, 7.55. So the series has been average for the most part until season 4, where they finally managed to kickstart a really strong run of episodes that a lot of people loved in the community, right? And of course, in the Japanese community, it's always been loved. So obviously, season 4 part 2 and season 4 part 1 being exceptionally well made definitely boosted the popularity, not only in Japan, but also in the West as well. It's exceptionally popular now, and so it's a perfect opportunity for them to take this hype and double down on it with season 5. And I think while that would be amazing, the problem is that it's too soon. And the reason why I say it's too soon is that if we take a look at the volumes that we have for Danmachi right now, right, we are currently, in terms of anime format, we are on light novel volume 14. Currently, in terms of the actual light novel releases, we are on light novel volume 18, which hasn't even been translated into English yet. We are getting volume 19 later this year in September, but we are so close to catching up. It is not even funny. We are literally 4 novels away, one entire arc away from catching up to the light novels. And this is the first problem, in my personal opinion. This is the first major hurdle that they have to cross over, because this is something that's not uncommon in the anime industry and manga industry, to be quite honest. If we take a look at 2 major shows, there are a multitude of shows that also exist as well, which we can obviously go and check out, but I'm going to focus in on 2 shows in particular: Shaman King and Full Metal Alchemist. Okay, so Shaman King originally had a series back in 2001, and the early stages of the show were helped and produced by the manga writer, the mangaka himself as well. Takei actually helped the anime staff build the series, but halfway through the project, he had to go and work on the manga, and then the anime project itself ended up just going on and doing its own thing. It was completely original. They even said, like, even in September 2020, Mizushima commented that the original anime material presented in the later half of the show was not something he did on his own accord, and it was requested from Shaman King's original publisher, Shueisha. So they had to kind of just start building things on their own without the influence of the author. And this is something that is even present in Full Metal Alchemist. Of course, if you guys know about Full Metal Alchemist, you probably know it. It's one of the most popular shows of all time when it comes to anime. You had Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist was the original loose anime adaptation, which was completely original for the most part. There were some obviously actual things from the manga, but for the most part it was completely original. And then there was a more faithful version, which was of course Brotherhood, right? And so these 2 shows were the perfect examples of when a show goes beyond the manga material and ends up doing its own thing. It can be very hit or miss, and more often than not, it's a miss. So that's the reason why a lot of shows nowadays, if you look in the 2010s and the 2020s so far, not a lot of shows actually progress beyond the manga. They let the manga or light novel in this situation do its own thing for a while, and then they start adapting it. And this is something that we've seen with so many shows and so many mangas as well, where they, if the manga takes a break, the anime also goes on a big hiatus. I mean, Black Clover's done that as well. Black Clover's author, Tabata, decided to take a break recently. I think he took like a 3-4 month break or something. And even the anime decided to stop. They decided to make a movie instead. And then, they would have continued the anime after the movie as well, right? It made so much sense in that regards, of course, to do something like that so that the anime wouldn't entirely catch up to the manga. Because what then happens is you have to either do original content, or alternatively you have to start introducing filler content so that the anime goes like sideways for a little bit. It just keeps moving here and here while the manga is stationary for now, and then when the manga continues, then it can continue along with it. So frankly speaking, Danmachi can't do that. Danmachi simply cannot afford to just cross the light novels entirely. What it can do, however, is go side to side, actually, right? And that's what that's why I believe season 5 won't happen, because one, I think that there's just, unfortunately, we're just too close to the light novels. And in fact, one more thing to note, the reason why I believe season 5 won't happen, a lot of people I know have been saying, like, light novel volume 15, 16 and 17 can be done one, and then they can do 18 later on, because technically 18 is a big event in itself, and of course 16 and 17 build up to that event. Well, I don't think that's gonna be the way it works, to be quite honest. I just don't see that happening. First and foremost, light novel volume 15 is very similar to light novel volume 8, and we know what happened to volume 8. It absolutely got gutted in the anime. We barely got anything from volume 8 outside of obviously the scenes with Ice, Hestia and Belle, right? And when they got lost in the village, basically, right? And volume 15 is a very similar sort of storyline and story arc, effectively, where it's a bunch of characters doing their own thing, a little bit of character development for a lot of different characters, and then we have a little bit of a major scene between Bella and Ice at the end of the light novel, basically, and then it progresses into volume 16 to volume 18, and that's its entire arc in itself. I do not think that they're going to split up volume 17 and 18, especially because volume 17 and 18 were actually originally supposed to be one novel, and then Omori sensei realized that he can't write all that into one light novel, so he split it into two, basically. So I don't think they're gonna split up 16, 17 from 18, to be quite honest, and as a result, they're gonna have to do the next season based on volume 16, 17 and 18. Now, that's the reason why, first and foremost, I don't think we're gonna get season 5 within the next 2 years. We're too close to the end of the light novel. The second reason why I believe we're not gonna get season 5, and why it's more likely for us to get something else, is because of the plethora of material that this stupid series has that they haven't freaking taken advantage of. I don't understand. They have Sword Oratoria, they have Familiar Chronicle, they have Astrea Record, Argonaut, they have so many things. They have Aedes Vesta as well. So for me personally, obviously I believe that it's way better for them to adapt Sword Oratoria first and foremost. I think that needs to be something that they get around to doing. In all honesty, I don't care if it's a season 2 or a remake. I would prefer if it's a remake, because season 1 is just that bad, to the point where if we get a season 2, a lot of people will be like, I don't want to watch season 1 though. You guys are all saying it's bad. I'd rather they just remake season 1 and start off from the very, very, very beginning, because frankly speaking, we need Sword Oratoria to get adapted, because unfortunately right now we're in a bit of a pickle where, yes, we're seeing Eyes a little bit in the anime, but unfortunately we're not able to get a full perspective of Eyes, unfortunately, and Sword Oratoria provides that perspective, and it's very much important that we get that perspective. I think, of course, I feel like the production committee has a very low level of belief in the series, to be quite honest. I generally do believe that they don't have that much belief in Sword Oratoria, but I feel like with the sales doing well for Sword Oratoria, the game adaptation in Danmimo doing really, really well as well, I feel like, this is the perfect opportunity for them to effectively take this chance and actually do Sword Oratoria right. I do believe that that would be a amazing opportunity for them. Furthermore, Familiar Chronicles, obviously, episode Ryu and episode Freya, both of these should get adapted at some point in the future. Maybe as like, mini series, like 3-episode series or something, but they need to get adapted, because in my personal opinion, right, episode Ryu obviously should have been adapted probably before we got season 4, to be quite honest, but I still believe we can still get an adaptation for it, and it being influential for what will be coming up in season 5. And the same thing with episode Freya. It is very, very important for us to get to this point, because it plays a critical role in season 5 as well. So frankly speaking, these two Familiar Chronicles needed to get adapted like yesterday, to be quite honest. So frankly speaking, this is the perfect opportunity for Danmachi to do the sideways thing that I was mentioning. Go and tackle the other things that are, going alongside Danmachi, because Danmachi it's kind of weird because Danmachi is like, it's got multiple arrows going upwards basically, because you got all these stories going up at the same time basically. And unfortunately, all we're getting, all the anime onlys are getting right now, and this is very sad for them, to be quite honest, is they're getting this one singular line going upwards basically, and they're not getting all these different lines going upwards that we've been able to experience through the light novels and of course Danmimo as well, right? So for me personally, I think this is a perfect opportunity. Take the hype of the, you know, seasons we've been getting and make Sword Art Rotoria you know, right. Do it right for the first time. Do Familiar Chronicles right. Do Argonaut or Astrea Record. These are two series or two stories that were absolutely loved in you know, Danmimo, and of course have gotten light novel adaptations recently. Obviously Astrea Record got it last year between October to December 2022 in Japan, and Argonaut is getting its adaptation this month and next month. Volume 1 this month, next month Volume 2. I think it's the perfect opportunity for them to also do these as well. If they really don't want to touch Sword Art Rotoria anymore or anything of that sort, Argonaut is there. It's such a beautiful story. Same with Astrea Record. These are very beautiful and important stories to the entire world of Danmachi, that doing these is very, very important. And furthermore, what they can also do, if they don't want to do any of this, right? If they think that, oh, we don't trust Sword Art Rotoria, we don't trust you know, Familiar Chronicles to do well, and oh, you know, we don't want Argonaut or this, right? Do Aedes Vesta. Aedes Vesta is perfect as well at the same time, because all it needs to be is a movie, and you can set it up as a sequel to Arrow of Orion. Just set it up as a sequel to Arrow of Orion and it will sell very, very well. In all honesty, it'll sell extremely well. It's a solid story. I wouldn't say it's Omori's best work. Obviously this was around the time of COVID. Even Omori sensei himself said that he was burnt out at this point from writing stories, and as a result Aedes Vesta did take a little bit of a knock, especially at the start. But this is something that, you know, it would be amazing to see on the big screens done right as well, potentially, you know, with Omori sensei supervising, especially, you know, he supervised season 4. There's a reason why season 4 did so well. He actually supervised the entire season, by the way. So him supervising the anime from here on out and doing stuff like Aedes Vesta and stuff like that will be excellent. It'll honestly work extremely, extremely well. Now, the other reason why I believe season 5 won't happen, and you might be wondering, Gail, you've only mentioned one big reason, and that's because we're too close to the light novels. What's your other reason? Why do you believe that season 5 won't happen right now? Well, I think right now Danmachi is doing a lot of different things right now, right? If you take a look at the 10th anniversary project, right? We had, of course, the 12 light novels. We have Danmachi Battle Chronicle. We have the next NeoWiz game coming out as well, right? We have, of course, this live event coming out as well. I think doing season 5 is going to be such a big undertaking, especially because of what the contents are, that I don't believe that they want to do it right now. I think they want to make sure that they're building the franchise right now, and it's the reason why I believe that they're pushing for so much stuff like this, allowing people to read the 10th, first 10 volumes of Danmachi for free, making Argonaut and Astrea Record into light novels, giving more people more stories to understand, making more forms of media like Battle Chronicle, like the newest gacha game, of course, right? These exhibitions, the online tests, and so on and so forth. They're making all of these more accessible and more out there, is because I think they're trying to now make sure they're trying to capitalize effectively Danmachi season 4, and they're trying to make sure that they're building the blocks for Danmachi. And I think the best way for them to also do that, and the reason why I believe that season 5 is not going to come, is to start working on all the other Danmachi projects that they have on the sidelines, with like Sword Art Rotoria, you know, all these Danmimo anniversaries and stuff like that, and bringing them into the more mainstream media, right? Obviously Danmimo is a great game to experience these stories in and everything, but not everybody plays gacha games, right? So for me personally, I think it's the perfect opportunity for them to focus on all of these things, rather than focusing on season 5 and probably putting more pressure on Omori sensei to write more. You know, we can focus on trying to expand the lore for Danmachi through all these other anime projects and then getting them up there. Now, of course, I feel like the second reason is a little bit weaker than my first reasoning, purely because I don't think the production committee cares too much as long as it's actually important to the Danmachi franchise. And of course, I think one thing that happens quite often, especially in the case of Danmachi, is that the production committee loves putting Bell front and center. And of course, with the other, projects outside of Ada's Vesta not necessarily having Bell at the forefront, it may not be something that they like doing, in all honesty. So we'll have to wait and see on that front. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you guys agree with my reasoning, disagree with my reasoning? Do you guys think that, maybe they are going to do a season 5, they're not going to do a season 5? Let me know in the comment section down below. This was a little bit of a fun discussion video that I wanted to do. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.